All right, hello and welcome to another episode of Team Rammyz Radio Talk. I'm Jack Rammyz. I'm here with
Jess-kitten.
Okay, and today we're going to do something a little different, sort of. We're going to talk about Disney movie. New Beauty and the Beast movie came out, live action. And I do say sort of because we have done Nightmare Before Christmas, which was Disney. And we're huge Disney nerds.
Well, I mean, bought by Disney later. It was turned down by Disney originally, and then they're like, "Oh man,
yeah, can we have this back, please?"
Yeah.
Okay.
We changed our mind.
So Jess, you're a huge not only Disney nerd, but specifically Beauty and the Beast.
It's my favorite movie, like ever.
Yeah.
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 Cool. All right. You have any thoughts on the new movie and any comparisons to the 91 version?
The 91 version will always be really special, but the new one is, like, phenomenal. They added a lot of cool new stuff and kept a lot of it the same, so it's, like, it built upon the original, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I pretty much have the same thoughts. It's, I love the 3 new songs.
Yep.
Yeah, Evermore.
Evermore.
So good. I like the character. The characters, a lot of them got a lot of development,
mm-hmm.
and we got to see a lot of history with a lot of them, and fix some of those plot holes that we don't have like all day to go through. But yeah, the original 91, if you're familiar with the movie, had a lot of plot holes, and they were very specific about fixing those for the update.
There are some new plot holes, but
yeah, we'll get into that. But I want to remind everyone that is just joining us now. This channel, although majority of it is creepypasta, we are going to go into other things, as we continuously say. So, especially this podcast, because it's not going to be, it will have a lot of creepypasta, I'm sure, but I think we've pretty much done a lot of theories, and the video game Overwatch theory episode for that, but I'm waiting to get Spectre General here, because they have a lot of theories on the Junkers, and that's going to be a whole giant Team Rammyz 6 Teams thing. So for now,
cool.
So now we're going to do Beauty and the Beast, because it's been devouring our souls for the last 2 weeks.
And Jack and I have seen it 3 times now, and we're probably going to go again, like, this weekend.
And it gets better and better every time. And every time we notice little things. And Jess and me have, like, an hour rides to work and back. So a lot of time we'll discuss theories and things, like our creepypasta 4 episodes long. That was a lot of Jess and me driving.
Yeah. And episode 5 has been discussed a lot while we drive.
Yeah. It's coming, guys.
We're working on it.
It's just, the weather's been atrocious. It's been pouring for the last 2 days. It's going to be pouring for the next, 3 weeks. So, unfortunately, it's not that we're, unable to it's just, it's the weather. And, we have a lot of script writing and stuff, because this is going to be a bigger episode with a lot more stuff added in. So, anyways, Beauty and the Beast. So, we're going to go into some theories, and, is there a specific theory you want to start off with, or just go down our list? The first theory we are going to discuss is our first theory that I actually I posted about on Tumblr. And you ever notice that in the Beauty and the Beast movie, we see, what are the objects? We have Lumiere, Cogsworth,
Plumet,
Madame de Garderobe,
Mrs. Potts, Chip.
And now we got the new edition of, is it just Maestro?
Maestro. Oh, we can't forget Frou Frou.
Yes, Frou Frou?
The stove made a small cameo in the new one.
Yeah. So we have all these enchanted objects and stuff, but, and they all have backgrounds and stuff, and we all see them turn in the end, but we don't see, is the wolves. And the wolves are in the original, and the wolves are in the updated one, and it's pretty... another theory we'll go into later, but it's pretty obvious that the castle you say is enchanted and kind of secluded from the rest of the world. Spoiler alert. Oh yeah, we should do a spoiler alert. So the wolves. I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, it's a castle, there's a prince, but what we don't see are soldiers and guards at all. So my theory was that the wolves that we see attack the beast are the guards, the castle guards, and the one with the scar that is the one focus of the attack is the captain of the guards. And the reason that they're attacking Prince Adam is because Lumiere later on in the movie says...
Well, he says we become less human.
Yeah, less human. There we go. It's better. Less wordy. We become less human. So I put out on Tumblr that I think the wolves are the castle guards, and I put the Lumiere quote, and it said, they don't recognize Prince Adam anymore. So that's why they're attacking him. And someone, it got really popular, and a bunch of people were commenting, and one person actually added in that it makes sense that it's another reason that Adam might not have left the castle besides looking like a beast or anything, or at least attempted to venture out in the world, is because he was being guarded by his own people. Jess had a different theory.
The wolves in the live action one are all white. And when you watch the opening scene, all the women dancing around are all wearing white.
Yep.
And we don't know if they made it out of the castle. Maybe they did, but they didn't make it out of the span of the curse or whatever. So I think that those women became the wolves, and they resent the beast for
keeping them there,
cursing them, and now they're slowly losing their humanity so that
they can't be in pretty dresses dancing around with a foppish prince.
Yes.
So you guys decide. Do you like the castle guard or the dancers? So that was our theory on the wolves. So another theory I'm gonna let. If you hear like rumbling and pans and stuff clacking, it's because Range Death is making us dinner.
Yeah,
so
we went grocery shopping.
It was awesome. We adulted. Say hi, Billy.
Hello.
All right, so I'm gonna let Jess take over about her bubble theory.
There's a bubble around the town, Villeneuve or Newtown. If it's Newtown.
Villeneuve, yeah, because it's ridiculous. It's Nouave or Nauve, Villeneuve. It's
French.
Newtown in English.
All right, but there's like this bubble where no one remembers anything, and no one in the world has any idea about this castle.
So when you're referencing the bubble theory, you're referencing the 91, the 2017, or both?
I guess both. But in the 2017, we know that Gaston and LeFou were not in the town at the time.
They were off at war.
In my idea of it, they were off at war, and Belle and Maurice hadn't quite found the town yet as the curse happened, so they are kind of unaffected by the time freeze that I believe is within this bubble.
Come on,
the
shooting
town.
star. Disney's never done any bubbles around towns before.
Yeah, Gravity Falls reference.
My idea is that the curse didn't actually happen too long ago. Like in the original, it was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
but
11 years old. I love all the people that get mad and they're just like, why did he answer the door? Where were the castle guards? Why? It's an 11-year-old. That's stranger danger. He was in the right. The Enchantress is weird.
Well, in the new one, she breaks in, so
Yeah.
no one let her in.
Yeah, she just freaking appeared.
So time freeze. So my idea is that maybe this curse happened like 2-3 years ago, maybe up to like 5 years.
Why do you think that?
Because
what is your evidence? Because you had a good idea.
Yeah, the age. Like if you see Mrs. Potts and Mr. Potts at the end of the movie, he doesn't seem too much older than her. So I can't imagine that much time would have passed, if any did, between them.
And Henry Cogsworth and
yeah,
Mrs.
and
Cogsworth.
Cogsworth and Mrs. Cogsworth. They're all around the same age, which is not entirely believable for the time period, but for the sake of story, they're all the same age-ish. Part of the reason I think that it was only a couple of years ago is because LeFou and Gaston were off at war.
Yeah.
Like...
That's canon. That's what they say in the movie,
Yeah, they were off at war.
Yeah.
And they must have come back, and suddenly, like, the day just keeps replaying, but they're not doing the same thing every day.
Yeah, it's just, like, the same day.
It's the same day over and over.
Always Monday!
It's always Monday, but to them, it's not.
Yeah.
To them, like, they still go through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and just everything is the same around them. And then Maurice and Belle aren't from Villeneuve or whatever, because they came from Paris, and I imagine it probably took them a while to get...
Well, she was a baby when they left.
Yeah, she was a baby.
They probably, like, traveled around France.
Yeah.
Hit up Italy. Did some shopping in England.
But yeah, that's what I've been thinking, because Maurice also leaves the town.
Yeah.
And the only people we've seen leave the town and go elsewhere are Maurice, and Gaston and Maurice, Gaston, LeFou, and Belle, because she runs up the hill. Yeah. And
does her Sound of Music thing.
Yeah, her Sound of Music thing, and then Gaston and LeFou come down from the hill, but no one else really goes out.
Dude, you just opened up... this is something that Jess hasn't talked to me about, this specific thing.
Is new.
So, you know what evidence that could add to that, actually? Tom, Dick, and Stanley, when LeFou and Gaston leave to help out Maurice. Now, Tom, Dick, and Stanley are with Gaston and LeFou almost the entire movie. The only time they're not is when they return to war because Tom, Dick, and Stanley are not soldiers. They're just Gaston and LeFou's childhood friends, I guess.
Or something.
Yeah, but they're constantly with them. Like, all the time. They're right up their asses. No pun intended. We'll get into that later. But the only time they're not is when they go with Maurice. LeFou and Gaston go with Maurice to go find Belle. It's a upright position and I love that part. Maurice is a joy, cinnamon roll.
I love Maurice.
But yeah, Tom, Dick, and Stanley are not there. However, when they return and LeFou is ranting about how he's like got anxiety about leaving Maurice to die, Tom, Dick, and Stanley are right behind them. And I know that they said it was 5 days. It had been 5 days since they left them out there. So that's kind of interesting that they didn't go with them. So that's actually, we have evidence now that could be that it's like Once Upon a Time type deal.
Yeah, where they're stuck in Storybrooke.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Oh yeah, and even Once Upon a Time they had the same thing.
Yeah, it was memory issues.
Memory issues, and even the same day over and over.
Yeah.
It was Henry who was the only one not.
Yeah.
Who kind of was like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, they say, poor provincial town, or the Belle song, the song Belle, Bonjour. Bonjour.
It's called Belle.
Yeah, it's called Belle. But, like, the entire song is, like, just take a step back and think about it.
Every morning just the same.
Yeah, every
since
morning.
the morning that we came.
To poor provincial town. But, I'm like, that entire song is kind of ratchet anyway, because it's, like, everyone in the freaking town is making fun of her, like, as she's just walking, doing her thing, and, like, she's perfectly navigating that entire town while reading a book. And she knows, like, everyone that's about to, like, come up to her and stuff. Because I've seen, like, time theories about this before. Especially about the new one. But she's navigating it. She knows when people are coming out. She, like, knows where to sit. Like, she's a little too familiar with the day-to-day activities. And granted, yeah, that's, like, how life was, I guess, back then. In towns, maybe. Who knows? Time theory. But, that's interesting. And the entire town, they're just like, this girl's so peculiar.
She knows where we are.
All the time. Why is she so weird? Is she reading and getting ideas? But that's the 91 version.
Yeah. Which I love that just because the animation there is
beautiful.
Yeah.
Except
really
the
like
eyes. The eyes are always like in two different directions. It's 91. I'm not going to rack them for that. All right. So Agatha, actually. I put in Agatha because she was, I was thinking she was policing the town maybe.
Yeah, Agatha was probably policing the town, just keeping an eye, making sure no one kind of got wise to what was going on.
Oh, Agatha's the Enchantress, by the way. They give her a name.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It was just
Spoiler
the
alert.
Enchantress. Yeah. She wasn't wearing green. I was mad.
Yeah, she should have worn green.
Yeah.
But I loved her hair.
Yeah, it was nice. They kept the hair like the stained glass, but they didn't give her the green dress. It was really weird.
Yeah.
There's something I want to say about Agatha.
Her expressions are glorious.
Her expressions are glorious. Like, you can get the character down just by her. Like, she doesn't say crap the entire movie. But just her expressions
she asks
and stuff.
for coins.
Oh, well, yeah. Alms for the poor.
And she tells Maurice to drink, and that's, like, all she says.
Yeah. But do you think Agatha kind of influenced Maurice and Belle towards the town? Like,
Possibly.
I think we talked about happy accidents.
Yeah. I think it was just kind of like something that happened that she didn't plan for, and then was like, oh, hey, let's give him a chance, because this could work.
Yeah. Also, Agatha is God. She's God. Because Beast gets, like, 3 shots all over his body. And not only does she return him back to human form, there ain't no blood on that shirt. There ain't no bullet holes. He's perfectly human.
She just turned back the clock.
Yeah. Well, I like how it should have ended today. He's like, I didn't account for stab wounds! Like, and the castle, and I read somewhere today on the LeFou tag that the castle came back, so the bridge that Gaston fell off of and stuff, they're like, well, if they turn back the clock, maybe Gaston is alive. And I'm like, I like that idea. Like, it's a Disney movie. I would hope he's not dead. He's not just, like, impaled on top of, like, one of the roofs of the castle.
Or one of those aptly placed golden statues with their spears pointing straight up.
LeFou's just crying and Bella's just like, yeah, he died horribly. He fell off a bridge. It was sad. There's his body right there. I'm sorry your lifelong friend is dead. And just look at him there. We have to get someone to get him down, and they're out there with sticks, like, poking the body, trying to get him down. And LeFou just cried, like, nah! But I would hope that in, like, Disney movie, like, I wish, like, as much as it's like, yeah, Gaston is dead, it's like, it's still a life, guys. Come on, it's still a life. Like, he's an asshole in the 91 version. He's more of a psychological monster in this one.
I forget what I already talked about because you started talking.
Was the image of, like, people poking Gaston's dead impaled body with a stick to distract him. But you talked about the time theory. You talked about Agatha policing the town and, like, influencing Belle and Maurice possibly to Villeneuve.
Yeah. I guess that's it. And they were the only ones to leave, which I just came up with a couple minutes ago, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I like that idea, because that's like some Once Upon a Time connections there.
Yeah.
So before we go into the next one, because this one's the giant controversy surrounding the movie, because Hollywood decided to, like, a week before the movie go,
oh my god,
it's a gay moment! Just gay! This movie is so gay! Gaston and LeFou are just gonna start doing it in the middle of the tavern! Oh god! No. But that's what everyone expected. Everyone expected, because, and if you read the article, they just read, like, oh, it's going to be gay. Like, people probably thought that they're just going to seriously just start macking it. But literally, and then people were pissed off when they got what they got, and then they were like, oh, it's just, it wasn't good enough, and it's like, guys, read the freaking article. Bill Compton, the director, was literally like, it's a brief gay moment. He didn't say, like, anything else. He just said it's a nice, intimate, subtle moment.
It's not like the Power Rangers article.
Yeah. Unlike, LeFou's actor, Josh Gad, said the same thing. It's a subtle thing. And Stanley's actor, I'm going to fuck this up because I can't speak French, because it's spelled like Alexis, but it's in French, but it's
Alexei?
Alexei, I'm so sorry, Lorizon, I don't know. He also said it's very subtle. Now think about this. If they did a full-on blown, like, male-on-male kiss, I think it would have been banned in most of the South. We know that the South are monsters.
Well, they would have boycotted it.
Yeah, it would have been banned. That one theater in Alabama banned it. The cat is meowing.
Because Billy's making steak.
So it was banned in one theater in Alabama because of the gay moment. It was banned in Russia. It received an adults-only rating, and Malaysia had a thing. So the brief moment that happened, it wasn't actually one moment. There were moments throughout. Like, it was very freaking obvious what.
But you have to really look for most of them.
Yeah, which I'll go into. But the ending. How would you describe that moment?
Kind of panning over, everyone dancing, and then LeFou and Stanley, like, spin their girls out and just happen to spin into each other.
Yeah, that was the moment. 4 seconds. Like, they go to that point where they're about to switch partners, and Stanley is a freaking beast and just, like, no pun intended, like, yeah, like, grab LeFou and, like, spun him around. LeFou grabbed his ass, like, right there, and it was 4 seconds, and that was the big moment of, look, LeFou got a boyfriend. Now, funny enough, Jess brought it to my attention because I was an idiot the first time I saw it, and I was so distracted by that moment that I didn't realize.
Jack thought there were two Stanleys.
I didn't realize that it was just the same Stanley. I thought that the guy at the end was Stanley, and then Tom, Dick, and Stanley were just guys in the bar. Nope, same Stanley.
Because Jack also didn't realize that Stanley, when Tom, Dick, and Stanley go up and fight Madame Garderobe, the three of them all get put in dresses. Tom and Dick run away, and Stanley turns around and is like, hey! Yeah, and then, like, prances down the stairs.
Pretty little boys! Go be free!
And Jack thought that Stanley was entirely different from the Stanley that LeFou dances with.
Yeah, I didn't know it was the same person. In the song Gaston, he goes Tom, Dick, and Stanley is the gay one. Or, yeah, bisexual, whatever. Whatever the label is, he's really into LeFou. Also, did you realize they put him in pink and gave LeFou a pink bow? Like, that was the first thing. He's in pink. And it's really funny because those three are just constantly, like, just mad-facing the entire movie. Like, sour, salty-ass face the entire... Yeah! Just, the first time... I just did a post last night about it, too. The first time they appear is, the camera's panning during Belle. It goes, look, there she goes, a girl who's so peculiar.
Mm-hmm.
The three of them sing the line, and, like, Tom and Dick are leaning on each other away from Stanley. Stanley's got his hands crossed, like, meh! And, meh! Freaking weirdo. And then the next time you see them is, when Belle is doing the courageous thing of, she's teaching the girl how to read.
Yep.
And the freaking a-hole teacher...
The headmaster.
Yeah, and Mrs. Cogsworth, of all people, go, we gotta do something. And the next, it cuts to Tom, Dick, and Stanley pouring out poor Belle's laundry. How did you feel about that, Jess?
It was pretty dumb. Like, she's just gonna wash it again.
Yeah.
Oh no, what did you do?
Yeah. Like, I wish I saw that exchange. Like, what happened? Like, that had to be a long time, because that means that Mrs. Cogsworth and Mr. A-hole had to go and find Tom, Dick, and Stanley. Like, how did that exchange happen?
Like, hey, go ruin her laundry.
Well, we've only ever seen them really in the tavern, so did they be like, I got the perfect dudes? They dump out Belle's laundry. So Stanley's a little bit of a bully. Or just, what did you say the other day?
Mob mentality.
Yeah, mob mentality.
Where it's kind of like, for anyone who doesn't know, mob mentality is when people will, in general, if one person is leading and everyone's kind of going along with them, it's like if Jack is kind of like, oh, well, now I'm only gonna cosplay, like, One Punch Man for the rest of my life.
Fuck.
One Punch Man forever. And he gets, like, Billy and Alex and Darren to, like, go along with him. It's like if Angel and I and Sarah were kind of like, oh, well, I guess if you guys are doing it, I guess I'll do it too. That's kind of like mob mentality where you're like, everyone else is, so I guess I'm going to do the same thing.
So, like, every cosplay group we ever do.
Yeah,
Like, a bigger one where we, like, pressure each other into doing stuff. We see them again during the number of Gaston, and I know a bunch of people have brought up or seen the gifs when he says Tom, Dick, and Stanley, and he, like, turns Tom and Dick's head and smacks the back of his head, and he's just like, oh! And this face and that, and then when he winks at Gaston, someone zoomed in, and Stanley looks, like, heavily distraught, and he looks like LeFou, like, ugh! And, like, looks away like, I can do better. I can be better than Gaston. He's like, and, you know, that's the line, team you prefer to be on. And everyone goes, Stanley says, my team, LeFou, be on my team. So, yeah, that entire time, nothing really happens between the two of them during that song, other than you pointed out something about face. Or was that Alex that pointed that out?
I think Alex.
Yeah, there's when LeFou gets back on the table, he jumps on the table and he, like, his one hand, like, presses into Tom's face, but he takes Stanley's hand to get back on the table. Like, Stanley, like, gently lifts him up, but, like, he just shares a face into Tom's hand. Like, after that number, they go to assist Maurice into the woods, and they leave him there, and they try to kill him. So 5 days later, Maurice comes back, and Gaston and LeFou, wherever they were, comes back into the tavern. And the three are with him. That's the next time you see him. The only other thing that he really does is when he's behind LeFou in the entire scene, and right before Maurice, like, because he's trying to be like, Monsieur LeFou, you were there, you saw what your dickhead crush was trying to do. He was trying to off me, man. What's up, bro? What's up? And LeFou was like, nah, man. Bros before hoes. You know, screw off. I need to agree with my man here. When Maurice goes to, like physically assault LeFou, like, he was about to bitch slap him. Yeah, he was like
gonna
this.
hit Gaston.
He was gonna hit Gaston. I thought he was gonna hit LeFou.
No, Gaston.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, he was about to go hit somebody, and Gaston, and at that point, LeFou backs up in the background, and it's just LeFou and Stanley in frame, and Stanley actually gets up and, like, takes a step towards LeFou. But someone else pointed out that, like, during that whole thing, when Gaston is like, okay, Maurice, we're gonna lock your ass up in the asylum, like, someone's like, oh, look, it looks like Stanley's, like, reaching for LeFou or whatever, but it's like his hand is sliding down his sword, and you know how a sword is, like, it's kind of out.
Yeah.
That's what it is. His hand is, like, constantly on his sword that entire time, that entire scene, except for when, like, Maurice goes to threaten them, and he just, like, stands up. So, that was a thing. kill the beast. Stanley's just right there. He is so like in the quote from Tumblr, he's jazzed to kill the beast. He is so there. Like he doesn't. Tom and Dick are the ones that carry Maurice into the cart. Stanley's just kind of on door duty. He like opens the door. And then when Belle has her moment, Tom and Dick are so aggressive with her. Like, he's like, yeah, lock her up too. And they're just like, hell yeah, get to lock more people up. Let's manhandle her. And, like, without even, like, before Gaston can even get it out, because, like, this is Broadway, filmed like Broadway. Because, so they have their emotions and stuff. Like, before he even got that sentence out, fucking Stanley was already at the door. He was walking towards the door. And, like, Tom and Dick lifted Belle up. Like, Stanley, calm down, man. Seriously. He's a violent boy. He was all pent up because he wasn't in drag yet. But yeah, that's what happens next, is that they ride towards the tower, and again, like, Tom, Dick, Stanley just, like, so into it riding their horses. They're just like, argh! But yeah, they're really into it. Stanley's behind LeFou the entire time, so that's I don't know, that's a thing. Yeah, then he gets in, Madame de Gravo dresses him up with pretty little boys, and he's all happy, and he can be himself. Yeah, and then they have the dance, and that's literally it. As far as, like, the other gay moments, I don't know, the things with Gaston. Like the tavern scene, the whole, no one as easy to boaster as you, and he, like, cuddles up. And what did you get from that part? Did you get, like, the sense that, like, okay, Gaston kind of knew, but he's just, like, because he goes, too much, and he goes, yup.
Gaston knows, and he's using LeFou for everything he can get out of him.
Oh. Okay.
You saw that bite mark.
Yes, that was the other thing of in the song he says no one fights like Gaston, or in a wrestling match nobody bites like Gaston, and
nobody bites like Gaston.
Exactly like that, and it's in like the lower belly. It's not like
it's not like a collarbone or a shoulder.
Yeah, which would have been easily accessible. Like, this dude had, like, a freaking mark, and it was red, and it was his full teeth. Like, you have to get in there to bite. Like, what were they doing? How are they wrestling?
How do you even bite that?
Like, it's really hard to do. Someone actually drew the picture, and it was, like, because he has a little tum-tum, and it was, like, he was literally clenched down to the stomach and lifting it up, because it's the only way. You have to take a chunk out of that stomach to do a bite mark like that. It's very intimate. They had to be in a very intimate position in order to even make that bite mark. Like, someone drew it, and it was like, based on how it is, it's like, oh, Gaston, why was your face that close to his crotch? So, there was that.
And what were you doing that you...
Why did you bite him?
Why did you bite him, like...
There.
Yeah. I don't know.
In the original, in the 91, he bites, I think it's Stanley's ankle. It's either...
It's someone's ankle.
Yeah, it's one of the three. It's, bites their ankle.
And during a wrestling match, no less.
Yeah, they were all, like, in a giant brawl. Yeah, they're in a bar brawl. And, he literally, like, no one bites, like, and he bites this dude's ankle. So why would you change it from biting an ankle, granted no one was fighting at the moment, to straight up LeFou being like, look at the super intimate mark from Gaston. He has marked me. I am his. Like, I feel like the Omega... The people who write those Omega stories, the Alpha, Omega, Beta things, are going to be like, hey! But it's supposed to be a collar. So, hey. I think maybe a collarbone would have been way too more intimate.
That's the point.
Yeah. But yeah, it was, I feel like, when he lifts them up. Yeah, Justice did the face. He lifts up a village girl and LeFou and a bunch of people. There have been, like, BuzzFeed articles all, like, last week being like, is Gaston bisexual, and was this the hint representation that he has a man and a woman on each arm? And it's possible. Like, he has no... Other than, like, the yupping in the beginning when LeFou's like, why not us? Why her when you have us? Like... He kind of, like, coasts over those moments. And the only time he really, like, uses it to his advantage was the chin pickup thing from, like, manipulation moment that I hate. So that was pretty much everything on Stanley. Also, the actor knows about your Tumblr posts. I have confirmation. I messaged him on Instagram, and I was like, hey, dude, you know there's, like, a whole bunch of, like, fan art of you on Tumblr, and it's pretty cool that you're, like, in the first openly gay relationship on Disney confirmed thing. And he was like, yeah, I saw it on Tumblr, it makes me very happy.
I mean, in a movie.
In a movie, yeah, because they have the Loud House. There's the two dads of one of the friends of the Loud House. Have you ever watched Loud House? Yeah, there's a...
No, but I remember the Good Luck Charlie.
Yep,
The
they had
reason
the
it
two
got
moms.
canceled was the two moms.
Yeah, they got canceled. But yeah, so Disney's starting. And hopefully in the future, because Mulan's coming out next year. And that's super heavy, in the words of the nostalgia chick. It is a loaded movie. Because you have all kinds of sexual orientations being thrown around, all kind of gender issues, all kind of feminist messages. It is very loaded. It is very much a movie of the times. Like, I don't know if any of you have been following the craziness that's been going around that movie, but this is the movie that's... It's so into what's going on now with feminism, with gender equality, with gender, transgender things, with... LGBT things. Like, this movie is much needed, and they need to do this movie justice. So there was like an outcry from the internet, thank God for the internet, when they were like, no General Lee or Captain Lee Shang, and no songs, no Eddie Murphy. Tragedy.
No Mushu, no Cricky, no Grandma. But...
Yeah.
That's not a Mulan movie.
It's not a Mulan movie. It's just like Crouching Tiger, Hidden, not Mulan. So yeah, so that's, hopefully we'll get more moments like that, especially with, they'll put Li Shang back in, with Ping. And I can go on for Mulan, maybe we'll do more Mulan stuff in the future, more Disney theories. Oh, so real quick, this is something else that Jessica had.
Okay, so one of the things I thought of with Beauty and the Beast is that I don't think that the Beast is the Prince of France. Because I find it very unlikely that you're going to manage to get the entire world to forget that this place exists and that there's apparently no leader to it. But one thing I remembered from, like, middle school history class was land barons, who were pretty much people who, they were rich, landowning people, and then they would, like, designate, like, okay, you're going to go work here, and this is where you live, and basically build small communities around their stuff to sustain their living and also those people's. And they could tax them and do all that stuff. So I kind of think that Beast and, well, more his father was a land baron who just kind of got out of control. Decided to call himself a king. And, like...
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, decided that he was the king and... tax the life out of his, apparently just one town.
Villeneuve,
yeah, but apparently it's just the one town that got taxed.
Well, you had an interesting thing behind that. We discussed because of the financial situation. What was the line?
Oh, yeah. Mrs. Cogsworth says that she wants to buy 6 eggs. That's too expensive.
Yeah,
so,
6 eggs are too expensive. How much is a dozen eggs? Usually like $2-3?
I mean, now, yeah.
Yeah. But
eggs are easily
accessible.
Yeah. And
like 6 eggs is too expensive to Mrs. Cogsworth, who had a husband working as the head of the household.
In the palace.
So something is really wrong there. Also, they bring up eggs again later on in the movie with Gaston saying he used to eat 4 dozen eggs every morning, and now he eats 5 dozen eggs.
Yep.
Math time.
We did the math. So that's...
I'm good. I need a calculator.
Jack's going to pull out the calculator. Okay.
Yeah. So 5 dozen eggs.
Well,
so
1 dozen eggs is...
60 eggs every day.
What?
60 eggs. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
5 dozen, 60 eggs.
Yeah, 60 eggs every day.
And he's dead by lunch.
Yeah. You cannot survive with that much cholesterol. Like, the protein's good, but...
It allowed him to rip a part of the castle off and beat Beast with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that there's a certain someone who would have something who would beg to differ. You could eat that many eggs. Yeah, Adrian!
Billy is really good at voices. So this is 60 eggs a day.
60 eggs a day.
Times 7?
Times 7.
Oh my god.
That's 420 eggs.
Blaze it! 420 eggs a week. Holy crap.
That's a lot of eggs. Like, that means that Mrs. Cogsworth, who was married to the head of the household of the castle, can't afford 6 eggs, but Gaston can afford 420 eggs a week.
He was a captain in the army. And LeFou, and the only other thing we've seen monetary is that LeFou was paying off at least 6 people in the bar to sing along with him.
Oh yeah, he paid
was
people
giving
off.
he's
if
like
you pay attention.
Yeah.
Throw in a couple silver pieces every once in a while.
Yeah. Said he's just pulling that stuff out. So he's either got that on handy, like.
Plus he's got a velvet vest.
Yeah, he's got in a very nice silk scarf. His little pink scarf there is very nice compared to like what Tom, Dick, and Stanley are wearing.
Corduroy.
Yeah, corduroys. And they look very dirty and stuff, and LeFou and Gaston look very clean compared to the rest of the town. So there, the only thing is the opening narrator does say that the world did forget about them. So that implies that the world did know about them. And it does say in the heart of France, not France. So I believe, I like the idea of the land baron, because you said it the other day perfectly, like, why would there be a king and a prince already in a kingdom? France is the kingdom. Why would there be another, like, why would there be a king and a prince, a kingdom inside of a kingdom?
Yeah.
So land baron makes more sense. Especially because you don't see another town. It's just Villeneuve, and then
Maurice is going to another town to trade.
Yeah.
But that's about it. And like we said before, we only see him, Belle, Gaston, and LeFou leave the town.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird that, like, that there would be a kingdom inside of a kingdom. So the land baron thing makes a lot more sense. And that, you know, it's more hinted at, too, because Mrs. Potts straight up said, you know, the dad was messed up. Mm-hmm. I want to know what he did to Adam, because she says that he took the boy and twisted him up to be just like him. Like, how do you mess up a kid that much that he has no love in his heart?
Yeah.
Like, what did he do besides watch his mom die? Like,
well, the king pulled Adam away, like, as she was dying, and he's, like, singing to her, and he's like,
berries and cream, berries and cream.
Berries and cream, berries and cream.
Yeah, Adam got a dye job when he was, like, 12. He had blonde hair, which, much to Darklighter or Sarah's horror, as we were watching the movie with Darklighter and Stuffed Corgi or Ferret Roulette or whatever you want to call Alex. They were sat there, and as soon as blonde Adam came up, they both go, Why is he blonde? Why isn't the beast's fur blonde? Why is it a brunette? His hair changes 3 different times. He's a brunette beast, he's a blonde child, and he's a redhead at the end. Adam's a ginger in the original. He's got, like,
in the
strawberry
original.
blonde. Yeah.
Yeah, strawberry blonde.
Yeah. I don't know what the freak wig they put on Dan. But, his dad is messed up and did messed up things. And it is possible, because they do say that he taxed the crap out of Villeneuve to fill his kingdom with the best of the best, pretty much. And that's why he had everything. Although, it still economically doesn't make sense to me, because they had, like, gold hanging from the ceilings, and, like, gold vines hanging from the ceilings. And they had gold, all, like, everywhere. And, like, they were presented like they were the king and queen of France, rather than just a land baron. Like, how much do you have to tax a village? Like, that village should be just starved.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the Bimbettes still had, like, pretty dresses. They were the nicest dressed people in the town next to LeFou and Gaston.
Yeah. And
their mom, or presumably mom. And you must be his grandma. Or his grandmother. Grandmother! So, yeah, those are our theories on Beauty and the Beast. Do we have any other ones? Any, like, little things that we want to throw out there? A certain voice line that tore your heart?
Oh, it's not a theory, it's just...
Yeah, but it's
my
still
favorite
something.
part that no one seems to talk about is when Belle comes back and she yells for the beast, and he, like, whips his head around, like, Belle! You came back! And his expression and the voice, it's my favorite part of the movie.
It's amazing. It's really good. And it is very emotional. A lot of emotion, like, you know, the kinship between Gaston.
The tinship?
The chin tip. Oh, chin tip. Between Gaston and LeFou. That was really emotional. That was messed up. The moments between Maurice and Belle. Amazing. Maurice with the, do you have kids?
That was good.
Be very headstrong. All of Maurice is like, it's straight up tree and Like, he's hilarious. I think he did great. Is it Kevin Kline or something? Or something? I forgot his name.
Everyone did really well.
Yeah.
I forgot something.
I did forget something. Well, I'll probably end up popping this in, like, after one of my rants.
Probably. Or in the middle of one. Listen to the glory of our dishwasher.
Yeah, this is recorded later on because I forgot something. What I missed was we discussed about everyone and Gaston and LeFou's relationship and stuff like that. Like, they're friends, very close, obviously. They had very intimate moments regardless of if you think Gaston was bisexual or just whatever. But they obviously had a very strong relationship, especially in the 2017 movie, where he's not just like a troll punching bag like in the 91 version. They actually are legit friends. And, you know, you had made the joke that LeFou is Gaston's one-to-one in the developmental disability community.
Or even in schools.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll just have a one-to-one, which means one staff or like teacher's assistant dedicated to one student for whatever reason. So
we said that Gaston needed a one-to-one because he is aggressive and overly sexual. Mm-hmm. And LeFou does that. And he does portray a lot of aspects of being a one-to-one. Like, Gaston had aggression and towards the whole thing with Maurice. And LeFou
used calming techniques that we use at our job.
Yeah.
To de-escalate him.
It was just like breathing and distracted him.
Think about happy things.
Blood and war and the widows.
Oh, widows.
Maurice!
Yeah.
That face.
Yeah.
After he turns around and goes, Maurice!
Maurice is just saying, Jesus Christ, stay away from me and my family. While LeFou's like,
you will never marry my daughter.
You really want to marry into this family? That was a great scene. But, yeah, so Gaston and LeFou are very close. But what I wanted to discuss is I had posted this on Tumblr, and the fandom seemed to have taken to it quite well. Gaston's death. Now, Jess and Billy are my best friends. Now, take it, if one of them was an asshole, but, like, I didn't see it because they're my best friend.
Like
and
me.
And then they died, like, I would be beside myself. Because we don't know about LeFou and Gaston's family. We know that from the novelization, they've been friends since childhood. So, they're like brothers at that point. So, regardless of Gaston's actions towards Belle, his aggressions, whatever, you know, screwed up thing, problem of the times thing, Gaston was still LeFou's best friend, and he died horribly. So, I had posted that, after the whole battle and everything, everyone's all hugging and kissing and, oh, monsieur, my friend, and French things everywhere. LeFou is in the crowd. You can see him in the crowd at one point. When Chip goes up to hug Belle, you see him right next to Lumiere. Or not Lumiere, the coat rack. So, Gaston dies. There's only two witnesses. Belle and Adam. And so one of them has to break the news to LeFou. And obviously it's going to be Belle. Because Adam don't know who the hell these people are. This guy just showed up and all these emotions were dropped. Like, out of nowhere, he's in his sad little emo Evermore moment. And then Gaston just shows up and goes, Belle sent me! Like, Clayton! So, I mean,
messed up.
Yeah, but think about it. On Beast's perspective, this dude just broke into his house, like, with his whole, like, village, all of his people, and, you know, the regret and everything of what he's done has fallen on him. And then Belle sees LeFou. And I had made this whole thing of, is he, you know, looking around for that red coat? Like, is he going through the crowd, like... Then he just start calling, you know, Gaston, like, have you seen him? Have you seen Captain, you know, the captain? Have you seen him? Where is he? And then does he start like, oh my God, everyone's here. He's not here. Where is he? Maybe something happened. You know, does he start this whole mantra of like, he's okay, he's fine. Like, he's fine. He made it out. And then Belle and Adam come out. So Belle is obviously the one that's going to be like, because she's the awesome one. No offense to Adam, but he's an emotional dog. Bella's gonna be the strong, freaking, badass woman to be like, I'ma got this. Mama's got this. And has to go and deliver this horrible, horrible news to LeFou that his best friend is dead. Like, how do you think that would have gone down?
I don't know. But I had another thought of who could do it.
Who?
Mrs. Potts.
But Mrs. Potts wasn't there.
She may not have been there. But, like, Belle doesn't have the best relationship with LeFou.
We don't know that. We know LeFou is so much better in the 2017 though. He's not like the idiot that he is in 91. He's a little bully.
But he just hung out with Gaston, who Belle didn't like.
This is true. Do you think Belle, though, being who Belle is and she's very compassionate and stuff, would push something like that onto someone else, especially regardless of how she felt about LeFou? Like,
but it may not have even been at that point. She may have been talking to Mrs. Potts about it, like, oh my god, this happened, and I don't know what to say to him because I don't know him.
And then Mrs. Potts could have been like,
don't worry, sweetie, I got this.
Yeah. I would like to see that. But whoever did tell LeFou, regardless, like, LeFou now has this horrible thing. And someone had mentioned it because I didn't realize about the time pass. LeFou has a mustache at the end. Yep. So they were like, based on his facial hair, it's been some time. Like, who knows? The growth could be like Billy growth, and it takes 3 months to grow a mustache.
And even then, it's not a full mustache.
Or it could be like our friend Zach and Dennis, who can grow it in a night. So we don't know about Josh Gad or LeFou's
hair
facial
growth rate.
Yeah, hair growth rate. So let's give it like a week, because that was a pretty dang nice mustache. So LeFou did have a mustache. So let's just say 2 weeks time, because got to get back with the family. 3 weeks most. Send the invitation. You gotta send the invitations out.
To who? Everyone in that village?
Yeah. I mean, Adam could have just got on a pedestal and be like, okay, yo guys, house party my place, 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. Saturday. Like, wear these uniforms. All the girls gotta wear this same exact dress with minor variations, and all the guys have to wear this black shirt or this black vest with minor variations. It's very Broadway. They're all wearing the same thing, but with minor variations. Like, Stanley's got the collar, and LeFou's got the gold leaf. Which makes me think that
they might revive it on Broadway.
I hope they do.
Because also the scene in...
the beginning is
no,
very Broadway.
the... Be Our Guest.
Okay.
When the things come through the door, like, it looks like curtains, and then it's doors.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I get such a Broadway vibe off that I'm like, are they going to do it?
They did. It was extremely Broadway-esque. But tangent aside,
sorry.
No, it's we went there. We drove the car. We both got in there together. LeFou now has this horrible thing. So how did LeFou go from the end of that movie to the dance? And I was looking at it, and Adam and Belle are growling at each other and having a good time in the middle of the dance floor, and LeFou is just kind of like, meh. He's got like a very straight face on. He looks like he's kind of into it, but he's just meh. So, what do you think? Could he still be hurting, depressed? Like, there was like a bunch of people that are just like, oh my god, he's getting over his feelings, and this is the first time that he has danced with Stanley or seen Stanley since, the pub or whatever. Or I've seen ones that have been like, they're together, and this is them coming out and being like, by the way, we're together! I've seen people being like, Stanley consoled him through the whole thing.
Stanley may have consoled him, but they definitely saw each other.
Yeah.
It's a small town. There's no way they avoided each other for however long it was.
Especially because that's, the five. The five of them are a gang. It's Team Gaston. Like, even Stanley's actor calls it, he hashtags everything Team Gaston. Like, he played Gaston in the Paris, pretty much the Paris equivalent of Broadway. Mm-hmm. And so he knows all about Tom, Dick, and Stanley and LeFou and the Gaston crew. And so I'd imagine, they're already friends. So if Tom and Dick got out of there after they got into frilly dresses, if Stanley was just in the crowd and stuff, was he still in the dress, in the makeup and the wig and everything? Was it at that point that he go to like LeFou and like comfort him and?
Or who else could have comforted him?
Who?
Maurice. But the parental figure,
it's not. No, I love
like
Maurice
huge
and Mrs.
in
Pot.
Beauty and the Beast.
It really is, and it's even more so now because we know about having the moms.
Yeah.
Mrs. Adams' mom and Mrs. Bell's mom. How do you think he was consoled?
I mean, they're probably betting on everyone being like, okay, well, we just had, Gaston just totally, off and leaving LeFou, like, trapped under Maestro.
Yeah.
So LeFou's like, well, I'm done with you. That's probably what they're thinking, is that you're just going to be like, okay, well, now he doesn't care. But realistically, he's still going to care. He may not be as broken up because he knows that Gaston is in the wrong at that point. He says it in the song.
Yeah.
What
is it? Beasts running wild, there's no question, but I fear the wrong monsters released.
Yeah. So. And he is staring, like, right at Gaston as he sings that.
Stanley staring right at LeFou.
But yeah, I think that the infatuation definitely started wearing off with the Maurice thing, so he may not have been as devastated.
Oh yeah, he watched his best friend straight up try to kill the... Like, he's probably like, this dude is crazy, what am I thinking? Like, I think the honeymoon period of being in love with Gaston is worn off. Which is weird, because if he was with Gaston during the war, like, imagine that. He's had to see Gaston through some pretty bloody moments and pass it off like, oh, it was wartime, it had to be like this. But, oh, if Maurice was the one consoling him and stuff, like, that's an interesting callback to earlier when he was straight up like, oh, Gaston didn't do anything. Maurice is crazy. Like he has a lot of apologizing to do and a lot of making up for it. Or the townspeople could be like, whatever, it happened.
I still don't think that many people would hold LeFou at fault, because Gaston was the one to
manipulate him,
to cause everything. And even Maurice, like, Maurice knew. Like, that's why he went to hit Gaston instead of LeFou. And he was, like, he wanted to reason with LeFou, and he's just like, Gaston's here. That's not going to work.
Yeah, I like that. I really do. So, what about Tom, Dick, and Stanley now? They're also...
Yeah. Possibly.
Like,
but I feel like...
that mob mentality.
They may have just... Like, Stanley we see later. I don't remember if we see Tom and Dick again.
You don't. They got in dresses and they probably ran all the way to Paris. They're like, I can't, there are just some things you wake up in the morning and say, hey, what am I going to deal with today? Not this! Not fighting furniture and getting, like, put into dresses. Like, they look like kind of like your stereotypical manly men. Like, at least Stanley had some flair to him. He had that little scarf on, and his hair was always, like, very curled up and stuff. And all
looked like victory curls.
It really did. Like, Stanley had some, like, flair going on. The other two looked dirty and grungy, and just like, whatever. We're in this color palette from the 91 Bibettes. It's the same color palette.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's interesting that you would think that Maurice, and I like that idea, too. Because
Maurice or Mrs. Potts, I think, would do it.
And then it's like this whole, like, weeks period of, like, does he blame himself? Is it eaten away? Like, there's a whole other movie going on.
It could even be years.
Oh, God,
you don't know.
No.
Timey-wimey. You don't know.
Gonna cry. I don't want to think of LeFou alone, like, that long. I feel like Stanley was with him and stuff, then maybe, but it's just like, did he travel the world, maybe? Try to find other best friends. He travels to China and make friends with Yao Ling and Shimpo, and Shimpo helps him out. Crack theories. Throw them at me. Maybe he runs into a street rat in Agrabah and tries to sell him some stuff. I'm done. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. LeFou travels through Disney World, runs into Stitch at some point.
Belle is my favorite princess, though, so Gaston and LeFou are not high on my favorite character lists.
No, see, I always like, it was like random for me with Disney because I'm like, I was always the Mulan, Hercules, Notre Dame thing. And Gaston. I've always wanted to cosplay Gaston as whenever we talked about the villains thing, but I can never pull him off. Personality-wise, totally got that down. Body-wise. Physicality, not so much. I'm like tiny LeFou. I think of Gaston's personality, but in LeFou's body. Like, tiny.
You even have a nose.
I do have a nose. I have a very weird nose. That I'm wiggling. Which is, I brought that up, like, we had an old friend that was like, oh, I'll do Gaston, and she was way taller than me, and she was built, so she pull it off, and she was like, and you could be LeFou! I'm like, yep, I know, I really could, to have that same mentality, especially the 2017 mentality of, like, I'll do whatever you want. It's bad.
How'd that work out for you, Jack?
Not so great. It doesn't ever work out. It's like I always play the sidekick of the villains. It never works out. Always.
It's not a ship that works.
It's never a ship that works, unfortunately. Hey! Shmi and Hook! Married couple. Dennis Hoffman and dude who played Hook played it like a married couple. From Hook. You've seen Hook, right?
I've seen Hook.
Okay. Well, Shmi and Hook are married in that, okay? Shmi. Kronk and Isma? Not married, not together at all, but I'm saying like a good relationship. No, maybe? Okay.
No. She abused him.
Yeah.
That was not good.
Well, I'm talking about him on his side. He seemed like he was okay with the abuse. Like he was self-aware and was, no? Okay.
Do you not remember all the conversations with his shoulder angel and devil?
Yeah, later on in the movie, but in the beginning he was just like, okay, I got this. When he's trying to
The sad thing is, I know exactly.
You know what the breaking point was, though?
What?
The spinach puffs.
Oh!
When she says that
I never liked your spinach puffs.
Although, speaking of green things, when Gaston is trotting through Belle's garden in the theater, and last time he yelled out, I was like, my cabbages! The characterizations. We now learn about Belle's mother, how she died.
Yep.
The plague. And who else is...
Which was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was really sad. Oh my god, Beast's entire everything during that scene, and he was so sympathetic with her. Like, out there, and he was like, oh, I love Paris! And the whole, like, shout out to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. So we know how Belle's mom died. We know how Beast's mom, well, don't know how, but...
We know that she did die.
Yeah, she died of mysterious old-timey thing.
And we don't know what happened to his father.
Oh, we don't know.
Oh, one of my theories I forgot when we were talking about the wolves.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my idea was that the wolf that you see a lot with the scar was actually his father. And I forgot to mention that.
That one's good. So yeah, we got to learn about that. LeFou got a complete upgrade.
Yeah.
He is no longer in Josh Gad's, where is a 2-foot troll. Because Josh was in a lot of interviews, like, people were talking about, like, oh, you're perfect for this role, and he's, like, very offended. He's like, sure, I'll play your 2-foot troll. But he sat down with Bill, and he got, he was like, can we please character develop the hell out of this character and stuff, and they're the ones together that came up with the whole idea to make him kind of, like, joking and things that go over Gaston's head, like, je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, that's another good line.
That one, and, like, all those little, like, jests and stuff towards Gaston that kind of go over Gaston's head. Like, LeFou got a lot of character development. Belle is a lot more. Like, she's a lot more, like, here's a hairpin, and, like, I know how to invent things and stuff. Yeah. So she got a lot more stuff. I like her a lot more. Who else got character? Gaston, we found out, he was a schoolmaster, didn't like him as a child, and he came back from war. He was a captain, and he saved Villeneuve from Portuguese marauders. We found out a lot about the town. And Cogsworth's got a wife, which is adorable. But
I feel bad for both of them, because he doesn't seem to really like her much.
Yeah, and it's sad because he's like, oh god, turn back into a clock. And she, like, people are like, oh my god, his wife was mean. I'm like, think of, like, you know what, I'm even going to go with the thing, and I'm going to use her as a callback to Stanley. Because she comes up and hugs Cogsworth, and it's like, I was so lonely. Look how close she's holding him. Think of, like, you're in love and you have, like, even if it's one-sided, like, you have this love of your life and it's your husband, your wife, or, whatever, your significant other. And then all memory of them is ripped away. So you have this feeling of love and then it's gone. And you have no explanation of why. Like, there's a reason that she's all haggard and angry and stuff, and she just wants to rip everything apart, because when you're, as Harry Potter taught us, without love you become a monster, like Voldemort. So maybe that's why Stanley was a bully, was because, or, Tom, Dick, and Harry, I keep doing it, Tom, Dick, and Stanley. I don't know why I keep saying Tom, Dick, and Harry. But, maybe that's why, like, everyone was just, like, really freaking mean. Because they had all their loved ones in the castle, and so a part of them is Kingdom Hearts! It's Kingdom Hearts! Their hearts were stolen! So, yeah, that was really cute. Plumette and Lumiere. Everything with Plumette and Lumiere.
They were so cute.
Oh my god, it was amazing. All the interracial couples.
And
Maestro. Oh my god.
They were so cute.
They were, like, holding each other's faces. Like, you can't feel like Cogsworth says it earlier in the movie where he's like, I've lost my hands, not my eyesight, even though he had like little clock hands. It was creepy little clock hands, like gold leaflets. Like that would be the first thing I would do after not being able to touch my like anybody. I'd just be like, oh, and they're like holding each other and touching and just like rubbing faces, and it was so cute. Like, oh my god, I can't. Oh, Flumet and Lumiere, so beautiful, so freaking beautiful, those two. Yeah. And the dog with the weird tail.
Yeah, he gets a normal tail after, like...
Yeah, when they're at the party.
Or even before the party. Right after he pees on the coat rack.
Yeah, who has a name. They do say his name, and I completely forgot his name.
I forget his name.
Yeah.
But after he does that, he runs over, and they're holding him, and he has a normal tail.
Oh, that was his little call... Like, they all have little callbacks at the end, so that was, like, the little ruffle, I guess?
Yeah.
Of the thing, yeah. The ottoman or whatever. Because they all have, like, gold paint or gold leaf on their face and stuff, and Maestro still has missing teeth because he was shooting it at people. Like, that's gonna be some badass moves. Like, have you ever thought about, like, opening your mouth and shooting your teeth at somebody to attack them? Because that's what Maestro was doing. That was it.
That was pretty much all we had. So, we hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think, if you have any other theories or ideas, or what you liked, what you didn't like.
Also, like, if you have any other horror or Disney movies, specifically Disney, because we're big Disney nerds, if you have any Disney movies you want us to review and discuss, because we can come up with theories about anything. We just need, like, 2 weeks in watching it constantly.
Yeah.
And lots of, well, we work every day, so we can do a lot of, like, car rides. We also talk a lot about finances in movies.
Yeah.
And, like, we did that with Toby, too. We were like, the finances of the Rogers family. So,
and, like, the trading for,
Oh, God, Frozen. I freaked out at the end of Frozen, because I was like, what does Weaselton trade? Like, they're their main trade,
They trade for ice. Blocks of ice.
I
to the Southern Isles, who can't make ice, because it's clearly warmer there. Because they're south.
But Weselton wasn't from the Southern Isles. He was from somewhere else.
He was from Weselton. The Duke of Weselton was from
Yeah.
Weselton. Which, by the way, go watch Once Upon a Time, because the Frozen arc is the best arc, because I love live-action adaptations, and it was amazing! And all of the brothers were there. All of them. Just all the brothers.
All the brothers.
All of the brothers. They're there making fun of Hans, and I'm like, good, you deserve it. You suck. But we'll do some more Disney things, but Team Rammyz Radio Talk is literally just going to be, like, theories and things we like to discuss, like video games and movies, stories, creepypasta stuff. Yep.
Yeah. Theories, opinions, reviews, etc.
Etc., updates. So let us know.
Oh, if you can, make sure to follow us on Instagram, because we've been doing a lot of live streams.
Yes, we've been doing so many live streams. We did one live stream on YouTube.
Yeah, and it was like
6 hours.
Yeah, it was 6 hours. If you sat through it, like...
Good on you. Join us on Instagram, Jack Rammyz and Jess-kitten.
Yep.
And links
also
are in
Facebook.
Oh, yeah, Facebook, all of our pages. All of our social media will be in the description below, as always.
Yep.
And, go follow some of those social media accounts. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.